What's up, everybody? It's that time again for YemmyCast, a video game podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and, of course, the home base, YouTube. Thank you so much for showing up on whatever platform you are showing up on. I appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you so much for tuning in. This episode, we got a whole lot of crazy news this past week, from helmets to freaking Xbox, you know how it is, and we're just gonna dive right in this week. I don't have anything to catch everyone up on, so we'll just be diving right in to the, oh, of course, I get applause for that news. I see how it is. Anyway, so I just want to jump right into this because news has been crazy. So the first, probably the biggest news story this week, I know it's kind of been pushed under the rug by a lot of organizations and not really showing on Twitter, but Fallout 76 is getting a recall on its Collector's Edition helmet. That is right. The Collector's Edition helmet that came with tons and tons of Fallout 76 fans' hopes and dreams that were suddenly crashed once they started playing the game. I know a few people have the Collector's Edition for this. I know Shinobi Nando has it, as well as one of the famous memers, K-Mac, had also purchased it as a little bit of a goof. But now it's showing that the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission has pointed out that mold can build up in the fabric inside the Chronicle-made helmet, potentially causing health issues to the wearer. Generally speaking, a small amount of mold usually isn't a problem for most people, but being exposed to it can be particularly nasty if you have a weakened immune system or if you suffer from respiratory damages or allergies. And if you extensively wear it, well, that could also cause problems even if you are a healthy person. Now, I think the mold can really only build up if you keep it in a area that can get, damp, or there might be a little dampness in the air. If you wear it for prolonged time and you sweat inside there, mold can build up from that. But if you have a temperature-controlled room and you kept it in your display case or in the box, I'm sure it would be okay. But it looks like you could actually get a refund on your Fallout 76 helmet. That's right. Over 20,000 helmets were made, and of course, probably about that many were sold. And now buyers are being asked to return the product to GameStop to get a refund. So you can go to your local GameStop, the one that you picked it up from, or maybe I don't know. I don't know if it has to be the one you picked it up from. I don't know if you need proof of purchase or anything like that, but you can get a refund from GameStop if you so please. Now, if you're not planning on wearing the helmet, if you're not planning on using it for leisurely activities like sunbathing or anything like that, I'm sure it won't be, a problem, to be honest with you. But if you are someone who has been wearing the helmet a lot, you may want to inspect the inside of your helmet and make sure there is no mold buildup. Of course, there's not a lot of ways for air to go in and out of the helmet. There's just a little slit on the front where the little circle thing is for the voice speaker that has a few holes in it, and of course I believe there are some on the sides, just little slits on the sides. Obviously this is just a long running gag for Fallout 76, starting all the way with the canvas bag, and now we're ending with the helmet being recalled by the USC PSC, or the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission. I don't think they actually shortened it to that, but whatever. So if you've bought a helmet, you could be looking to get some money back for your purchase if you so desire. I don't think I would recommend. I mean, if I had gotten this helmet, would I be wearing it nonstop? No. I mean, even if I played the game and liked the game, I don't think I would even wear the helmet at all. I mean, this is more of just a display item. I think that these health concerns are pretty much just because of the possibility of mold. And of course, if you do find mold is growing inside your helmet, you're going to have to either scrape it out and deep clean it, or just give it a return it to GameStop. Interesting development in the Fallout 76 storyline. There's just been countless things piled on top of countless things about Fallout 76, and I don't know if this is going to be like the ending to it all, but it's definitely looking like it's getting close to being the curtain time for the old Fallout 76. Take it out back and shoot it with a gun. Alright, moving along to Frogwares Games, which is a developer that develops the Sherlock Holmes games, like the ones called Crimes and Punishment. I believe there's also one called Versus, what's his face? Jack the Ripper. But it looks like the Sherlock Holmes games all the Sherlock Holmes games are seen to be taken off of the PSN store and the Xbox Microsoft store as well, and it's possible that these games could be taken off of Steam in the near future. If you've been interested in owning the Sherlock games digitally on PS4, you're a little late to the party because as of September 31st, all the games have been taken down from the respective stores. I'm not sure if it's still up on Steam, but I'm betting it is or it will be soon. In a statement on Twitter from the Ukrainian developer studio, Frogwares said that the publisher in question is refusing to transfer back the title IDs to the creators and owners of the IP, despite the fact that the publishing and distribution agreement has now ended. Blah, 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 blah. Agreement has now ended. Okay. This is apparently because of a new policy that Focus Home Interactive has put in place, which stops this transfer from happening at the end of the contract agreement. But it's also one that didn't exist in the past with any developer that currently holds with the publisher. So Focus Home Interactive, haven't really heard anything bad about them in the past. They put out some classic games, I guess you would say. But the Twitter post from Frogware at Frogwares on Twitter. It's a little bit of a long statement, but I'm going to go ahead and read the whole thing because it is good information to know from the mouth of the developer studio themselves. So, in the tweet it says, "Hello. This letter is addressed to everyone who is interested in the video game industry and wants to take a look at what's happening behind the curtain. We are Frogwares, the developer of the Sherlock Holmes video games and The Sinking City. We make detective games because it's our passion and because it allows us to live off of it. But today, that is under threat. Some of our games are being removed from Sony's and Microsoft's storefront, and even maybe from Steam. This list includes our titles like Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment, The Testament of Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper, and Mag Runner Dark Pulse. There's a full list also in the description as well. Why? Because Focus Home Interactive, the licensee or publisher that was in charge of commercializing these games on these platforms, refuses to transfer the title IDs to us, the creators and IP owners of those titles, even though our publishing and distribution agreement has ended. Because according to their official statement sent to us only last week, Focus has put in place a policy in accordance with which they will not transfer any title, the content ID or title ID belonging to any developer which has removed all of their games from the Focus catalog. A policy that is not in any of our previous or existing contracts with Focus, and that has never been applied to us in the past. Because of that policy, our games will be taken down from all storefronts. As it stands right now, the only game left is Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment, which only has until September 29th, which has already passed. It is possible that it will be taken down at this date or earlier if nothing is done. The players who will no longer be able to buy and play this game will also lose all of our wish lists on those store pages. As the creator and IP owners of those games, we have no control and no say in this. The decision of Focus Home left us voiceless. We are in the process of setting up new store profiles, and we are contacting console stores and hope to try to rectify the situation. However, we are unable to confirm if this can be done, and already know that it will be impossible for certain games on previous generations and very costly for others, as we will have to update the SDK, and that takes months. We are certainly not going to give up, and we will pursue this issue through the appropriate channels. We have always been an independent studio. We worked with many licenses on the grounds of mutual interest and benefits, but it's the first time in 20 years we have encountered such a situation. We are losing all revenue attached to these games, some an unknown period of time, and for other games, forever. This new policy from Focus Home towards former contracted developers will land a serious blow to our studio, threatening our future games and the people who develop them. Right now, we are in a tough situation, and we are preparing ourselves for a significant loss. To those parties that can help us and have influence over the situation, feel free to contact us. So it seems like Focus Home Interactive has completely screwed Frogwares. Now, I never played the Sherlock Holmes games, but I do know that they are a bit popular. Lots of people like these games. They get pretty good reviews on Steam and other platforms. I just never got around to playing them. But this is a pretty sad thing to see. I mean, to be honest with you, this is the scummiest thing I've seen in a while from a developer. If you don't recall from last week's podcast, It'll Do 2 had kind of the same thing going on with a different publisher where the rights weren't being transferred over, so they took down the game without the developer's permission from the storefronts. In this case, it seems like the contract has ended. Frogware wants to go their own ways for now. And Focus Home Interactive added something to their policy that makes it so they cannot get their rights back for these games, which is scummy, one, and two, doesn't make any sense, because if it's not in the original contract that they signed, and I'm sure there weren't any amendments to that contract that Frogware doesn't know about, they can't do that. And because Focus Home Interactive is doing this, I think that Frogware can seek legal help in this matter. Breach of contract and stuff like that is not something to scoff about, and I think that if Frogware is smart, they'll head to some lawyers and try and sue Focus Home Interactive, or at least try to get the rights to their games back. So if you wanted to play the Sherlock Holmes games, if you haven't already downloaded them or purchased them on disc, there is going to be no way to get them digitally, of course, in the near future. As for the PS3 and Xbox 360 games, those games are probably going to be lost in limbo, seeing as Frogware doesn't have the income to put those games back out on those storefronts, as they said in their statement. So sad news for sure, and also really concerning news. Like I said, I never really heard anything bad about Focus Home Interactive, and now it seems like something has changed in the company, and Frogware found the need to come out on social media and try and call them out, and hopefully it'll work for them, kind of like it did for It'll Do 2, although that situation wasn't fully resolved by the time that I finished that story, but it's another one of those wait and see kind of things where who knows what's going to happen next. Hopefully they'll be able to get the games back up on the storefronts, and they'll start making a little bit more, they'll have a little bit of income to help fund a solo project published by themselves, or maybe they'll step in with another company. But for right now, Focus Home Interactive is looking like a stinker.
Boo! You stink!
Alright, AtGames is having a pretty crazy week. So AtGames, which has developed stuff for the Genesis and Mega Drive systems, clone-based systems. They also had a small involvement in the Mega Drive Mini project, and they were removed from the development when Sega took production in-house. The company is also has created some unauthorized Ms. Pac-Man mini cabinets, which resulted in Bandai Namco's relationship with the game's original developers, General Computer Corporation, breaking down and scuppering the discussion of ownership issues over the character. So General Computer Corporation created the Miss Pac-Man character in 1983 after modding the original game Pac-Man, and it signed a deal with Namco at the time to make the project official, but the legal web has of course been tangled ever since. So the complainant, filed on September 20th in federal court in San Jose, is based on the grounds of false advertising and unfair competition, and also includes willful, knowing, and international infringement related to the Miss Pac-Man brand. Bandai Namco also claims that it only became aware of the AtGames mini cabinet because the company sent one to GCC's Kevin Curran. While you might assume that Bandai Namco owns the complete rights to Ms. Pac-Man, there have actually been discussions over the past few decades relating to the royalty interests owned by GCC, with talks still ongoing as of last month. So it's really weird that they probably sent this cabinet to Kevin Curran, who is the lead of GCC General Computer Corporation, and it was just a gift, saying, hey, look what we made, it's going to go out in the market soon. And they were like, the fuck? So yeah, Curran got in touch with Bandai Namco to inform the company that AtGames was interested in acquiring their royalty interests in Ms. Pac-Man. Word then reached Bandai Namco's ears that AtGames has actually succeeded in acquiring said interests, which obviously didn't go down very well, which is led to a lawsuit. On the other side of things, the company was handed a breach of contract lawsuit with the retailer Walgreens, with the topic of tens of thousands of unsold AtGames products at its core. Walgreens claims that AtGames had sold the stock on a sale or return basis and had promised to refund all returned units worth a total of $1.26 million. No payment has been made to Walgreens since Walgreens returned the stock to them, which is why the lawsuit is now out. And now, as of Friday, the story took another turn when it was confirmed that AtGames had indeed secured the rights to Ms. Pac-Man character officially and acquired the royalty interests from GCC's 7 rights holders, which means it has the right to be paid whenever the Ms. Pac-Man brand is used in a commercial manner. It does not own the IP rights to the character, however. The deal was reportedly signed in August, which means that the rumors that Bandai Namco had been hearing were proven true. In a statement issued by Ping Kang Hsing, the chief executive of AtGames, he said the following: "As part of our ongoing initiative to be caretakers of important cultural touchstones, we are privileged to gain these valuable rights pertaining to the icon Miss Pac-Man arcade game." Polygon has been issued with AtGames attorney's response to Bandai Namco's counsel, which expands on the statement a little, calling Bandai Namco's actions another transparent effort to punish AtGames for entering into its August 2019 agreement with GCC individuals to sully AtGames' reputation, to distribute AtGames' business relationships, and to artificially manufacture leverage in an ongoing negotiation between the parties. To wit, Bandai Namco and Entertainment America is so irritated by the fact that AtGames has entered into a contract with GCC individuals, an arrangement BNEA hoped to exploit for its own benefits through deceit and bad faith. I can't read. That has ordered its lawyers to attack AtGames by any means possible. So yeah, it looks like AtGames has had quite the week. Getting the rights to Miss Pac-Man, and then having Bandai Namco sue them, and then having Walgreens sue them as well. Hopefully the Bandai Namco thing will be resolved out of court, and hopefully AtGames will actually pay Walgreens the money that they owe them. AtGames has had quite a history. They've done a lot of different projects, including small cabinets and stuff like that. Like I said before, the Genesis/Mega Drive clone systems and the Mega Drive Mini they were working on a little bit. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with all this. The court documents were filed on September 20th, so it's been more than a week since that, and there really hasn't been any new news coming out of it just yet. So we shall see what happens in the future. Alright, so Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to have an autosave function, and you can turn it on or off. So last month, fans spotted a new now-saving message in some Pokemon Shield Direct footage, causing many to believe that the game now supports an autosave function for the very first time. As it happens, the game will indeed support autosave, but you can turn it off if you prefer. In an interview with Game Informer, director Shigeru Omori shared the following: "It's a new feature we're implementing, full autosave functionality. Traditionally in Pokemon games, it's an important thing to write your report to record your save, and that's always been a staple, like remember to save your game. We do have an autosave feature this time, where you can just adventure and it'll continuously save the game. I think the Nintendo Switch, compared to previous consoles, it's actually a bit harder to restart your game. Like on NES, you'd have a dedicated button to reset the whole thing, but the Switch, it's a little bit more complicated of a process." Interesting. So yeah, I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing, especially because me personally, I forget to save all the time on games that don't have an autosave system, and I'll be thrown right back into the action of 30 minutes before that. So I think this is a good thing for people who are in the new generation and they're used to autosave. Anyone who's angry about this or just purist for Pokemon, go back and play Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow if you so desire to save every single step of the way. I remember I was playing Pokemon Omega Ruby or whatever like that, and I don't think that one has an autosave feature, and I turned off my DS on accident, and I had to reboot it, and I lost a lot of progress, and I haven't played it since. That's the kind of thing that happens. So, people, I guess people are happy about this, because it has the option to turn it off and on. So if you want the classic Pokemon experience, you can just flip that button right off and forget the save. And then you'll be like, oh, I probably should have left that on. Wah, wah. Okay, so Mortal Kombat 11's Terminator, it has a gameplay reveal trailer out now. Everyone was kind of concerned, what was the voice of the Terminator going to sound like? And he sounds close to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but some lines just don't sound correct to me. But yeah, the latest fighter, the Terminator, or T800, Jesus Christ, T800, has been shown off with this brand new gameplay from Mortal Kombat 11 on their YouTube channel. Terminator T800, Jesus Christ. Terminator T100, Jesus Christ, will be playable from the 8th of October as part of the character's early access release, and then the following week, players will be able to purchase individually 1 week later. Like I said, the character has the likeliness of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he does not voice the character. He has a sound-alike actor for the game. Combat Pack owners will also have access to some new character skins on the same day. Alternative T800 character skin, new Cassie Cage character skin inspired by Harley Quinn, double feature skin pack including new character skin for Sonya Blade called Cyborg Hunter, Kano called Cash Machine Kano, and Johnny Cage called Red Carpet Johnny Cage. The Combat Pack will offer 6 new characters and various skins. I've already, of course, downloaded Nightwolf, Shang Tsung, and of course the Joker, Sindel, and the Terminator and Spawn are coming out in the future. It's currently priced at about $30, and if you want to, you can check it out. The gameplay looks pretty good. There's a few things in there that are kind of head-scratching, like Scorpion burns the skin off of Arnold Schwarzenegger to show his T-800 body underneath. And he has, like, invulnerability, and he just, like, kicks the shit out of Scorpion. It's kind of scary. And the fatality for the one they showed off was pretty cool. Essentially, he shotguns both the knees out of the character, and then he transports them without their legs to the future, and then another 3 T-800s come out of nowhere, and one zaps him with a laser gun. It's pretty cool. The fatality, not the fatality, what's it called? The brutality or whatever. Whatever the X-ray, whatever you want to call it. That was pretty lame. I didn't like that one at all. I felt like they could have done a little bit more with it. It's also cool to see, like, instead of seeing a skull and bones, you'll see the Terminator skull when different things happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays officially. And I think I'll be downloading him probably the day of, which is the 8th of October, to kind of check him out. Alright, so Nintendo is offering a 1-day game development internship. Oh, we can do it!
In Japan.
In Japan, that is right. If you are in the market to develop games on the Nintendo's biggest system ever, perhaps these new internships are for you if you don't mind traveling to Japan, because these are going to take place in Kyoto, Japan. They announced that it will be hosting 1-day internships for budding developers. There will be 2 available courses to attend, one focusing on game development and one focusing on system development. If you do happen to be based in Japan or are willing to travel and have an understanding of their language, you can go ahead and apply on their website. The game development course is now running from the 22nd of November through the 17th of December, and it has a Breath of the Wild theme, while the system development course is running from the 13th to the 20th of September. The website is completely in Japanese, so I am not going to apply, but you, if you know Japanese, you can possibly have an internship, 1-day internship
in Japan.
In Japan. So the Disney Classic Games pack, whatever you want to call it, is going to include a Final Cut version of Aladdin that has all new level sections and minor adjustments. The upcoming Aladdin and the Lion King game pack isn't going to be your standard re-release. There's going to be plenty of stuff new to the game to ensure they offer the best experience possible for anyone old enough to remember the originals. In addition to various modern improvements, a rewind and cheat feature, and an explorable museum, Aladdin will include a Final Cut version, which will come with all new level sections. Digital Eclipse senior producer Stephen Frost spoke about this recently in an email to CNET. There are some major adjustments that we know fans will be happy to discover, such as an improved camera system, new level sections, additional enemy variations, difficulty tweaks that include boss changes, and improved sword impact. Nighthawk Interactive and Digital Eclipse added this content after consulting the original development team. There's also the Sega Genesis and Game Boy versions to try out of each game, and a trade show demo that hasn't been playable since 1993. The Lion King hasn't had any new content similar to this because contact with the original developers of this game are limited. Ooh, interesting. So Aladdin is getting a ton of new stuff, but the Lion King looks like he's dropping Simba off that cliff after all. Alright, so Brain Age is going to be making a comeback on the Switch, or as it's called in the UK, Dr. Kawishima's Brain Training. How old is your brain? Nintendo revealed that it's going to be resurrecting this million-selling game. Brain Age sold a ton in all areas, training your brain, helping you with numbers and letters and blah, 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 blah. So the game has been only confirmed for Japan right now, but of course, because the game is so popular globally, I'm guessing it's going to be getting a Western launch as well as a launch for the UK and Europe. The game is going to be known as Train Your Brain, Nintendo Switch Training for Adults in the homeland. In
Japan.
So, the trailer shows the Joy-Con IR camera is going to be used to detect the shape of your hand, while the Switch's touchscreen will allow you to input via a bundled stylus with the game. Elsewhere, players are pitted against one another in counting challenges with detached Joy-Cons. Notifications will also be possible when the Switch is docked. I said ship. Aye, that'd be a fine ship docked by your TV. Via vibration in the controller and the LED. It looks like this isn't the first game to make use of this feature, which was introduced in the last firmware update. The game launches in Japan. Oh God, the game launches in Japan on December 26th at a retail price of 3,480 yen for the physical version, which includes the stylus. The download is going to cost a little bit less at 2,680, and you can probably use a third-party stylus. That should be fine. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I did have Brain Age back when I had a DS. It was a pretty cool little system to have, and the trailer for this looks really cool. Like I said, the IR camera, like it actually shows your hand, holding up 5 fingers on the screen, and it'll tell you if you're right or not. And this is great for kids. This is great for adults. This is good for elderly people who are trying to keep their brains stimulated. Just like the old days. And it's cool that it's going to come with a free, not really a free stylus since it's more money for a physical edition, but a stylus as well, which is the first, Nintendo. Well, I guess the Mario Maker got a stylus too, but this is going to be one of those very few occasions where they actually have a stylus bundled in with a game. So, if you're
in Japan,
you can hopefully pre-order that soon. And if you're not in Japan, hopefully they'll be releasing a statement soon, maybe possibly with the next Nintendo Direct. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool to see it come back. All right, so as you all know, I hate Metacritic review bombs. I just hate review bombs in general. Steam ones, bitch. All that kind of stuff. I feel like those kind of things are just downright dirty and despicable. And in recent news for review bombs, the Metacritic score of FIFA 20 has been review bombed, and it's gone negative. If you don't remember, Astral Chain and Assassin's Creed Unity both got review bombs, one positive, one negative. And it looks like FIFA is getting the same fate, with players feeling rather unhappy about EA's decision to release a Switch version as a Legacy Edition. Essentially, the Legacy Edition release of FIFA means that the new game is identical to FIFA 19 on the Switch, but with an updated player roster, kits, and the like. We often see Legacy Editions arrive on older consoles, with EA presumably believing it is unwise to spend resources on creating something new. So here are a few of the 154 negative reviews and 0 positive reviews. Here's a few that people have stated. So on Metacritic, one person wrote, "It's FIFA 19 with a new picture. I'm really disappointed. Not even Volta. Shame on you, EA. FIFA 20 equals FIFA 19 with updated skins. Please, Konami, put PES on the Switch. We're tired of the EA bad treatment." EA continues to ignore feedback, makes the same game again and again with minor changes, and gives us unfinished games every year. And of course, one of the best, EA being lazy, EA being greedy, EA being the worst video game company, EA being EA. Now, here's what I gotta say. This doesn't seem like a review bomb. This seems like people with genuine criticisms about the game itself giving negative scores. So I don't think this is actually a review bomb. I believe this is just people going out and giving their honest opinions on the FIFA 20 for the Nintendo Switch. Now, if this was, because EA had, bought stock in a Nazi organization and people, okay, let's not do that one. Let's say that EA bought stock in a game company that no one really likes, and that's the reason why they are downvoting FIFA. That I would understand, but this seems like actual criticism for the game. It seems like they just reskinned FIFA 19, they updated the roster, and then they just said, okay, here you go. This is the Legacy Edition. So for Nintendo software, that is one of the biggest software in the world right now, the Nintendo Switch is a great console, and they're not putting their best foot forward. They're putting Legacy Editions on. That's kind of scummy of EA. I know I've said that word a lot this time around, but that is true. That I don't think EA should do this kind of thing. If you're gonna just release FIFA 19 again with an updated roster, literally just put just make a specific game for the Nintendo Switch that's called FIFA Legacy Edition, and have people make people able to purchase roster updates for like $10 a year, and that'll be fine. You can still keep in the same microtransaction bullshit, the same loot crate bullshit, whatever you want to call it, in the game. You can still do all that crap. Send out an update, updating the textures a little bit, the character names, whatever. Don't release a fully priced $60 game that's called FIFA 20 Legacy Edition when it's just FIFA 19. This is genuine criticism from people. This I support. But I wouldn't call it review bombing, because if it was not genuine criticism, then it would be a review bomb. But this is genuine criticism. So it's not actually a review bomb. So, take that with what you will, but this is definitely related to the game, and it's not related to the company's actions. Assassin's Creed Unity, people bombed that positively because they gave out the game for free and they donated to the Notre Dame project. That has nothing to do with the game itself. Borderlands 2, people were angry that the Epic Store was getting Borderlands 3 exclusively on the PC for a month or two beforehand, before the release. So they review bombed Borderlands 2. Then that doesn't relate to the game at all. But this actually does relate to the game. And I do not call this review bombing. They should take that out of the title of this article, because it is not a review bomb. This is just people putting their opinion out there and hoping that EA will see. Obviously, people have been unhappy with EA's Switch releases for a while now, and it's just been building up so far, and it looks like it's finally reached a peak. So, EA Games!
Boo! You stink!
Alright, so the UK's pop-up Pokemon store is going to stock an exclusive London City Pikachu plushie with umbrella and Psyduck handle. It's a pretty cute thing. It has a bowler hat on. He's got a little suit with Pokemon insignia, Pokeballs on his necktie, and he's holding an umbrella that has a Psyduck head-like sculpture for the handle. Bringing charm, sophistication, and shockingly good looks, it's our new favorite gentleman, London City Pikachu, exclusive to Pokemon Center London. So yeah, the London Pikachu will be available exclusively at Pokemon Center London. The new store, which will be open from the 18th of October until the 15th of November, it will be available there at those times. So yeah, it's gonna be a cool store to open up in the UK. This is the first Pokemon shop, I guess, opening in the UK like this. And hopefully some of these products come around to America. I'm sure you'll be able to buy some of them online as well. But for now, it's going to probably be exclusive to this UK shop until the games officially release and, the hype is kind of dwindled a little bit. They'll probably be like, but now you can buy the wheezing Galorian region plushie on our website. I hope they'll put out something like that, because I like the wheezing. I do like the Pikachu design, but the wheezing one is top notch. I love pollution. Oh, geez. I shouldn't have said that. Alright, so if you don't recall, the class action lawsuit against Nintendo about the Switch Joy-Con drift was, I believe that was put out in July, but now the Switch Lite is going to be added to that lawsuit. So Krimklas, Schwartz, Krinner, and Donaldson-Smith are adding Nintendo's latest version of the hybrid system to the class action lawsuit for Joy-Con drift. If you don't recall from last week, we talked about the Switch Mini or the Switch Lite having Joy-Con drift issues already. One of the users has already come out on Twitter and said, I beat Link's Awakening over the weekend on my original Switch Lite system. I had only put in 20 or something hours on it, and it started to show some Joy-Con drift issues. The firm lists 18 plaintiffs across 16 different states in America for the lawsuit. Shortly after the lawsuit, of course, Nintendo said, hey, come to our customer support system and we'll get you squared away. And as I reported last week, it's going to be a higher price to repair the Switch Lite if you don't have the warranty on your system. So this is kind of pushing me away from getting a Switch Lite system, seeing as you would have to send your entire system to Nintendo instead of just one Joy-Con or something like that. Definitely not good news for Nintendo. Like I said last week, usually they have a good record with their title or with their game or their consoles. The GameCube was an excellent console. The Wii was fine. The Wii U was built sturdy at least, even though I didn't really like the system. And the Switch seems to be working well for me. It's just that a lot of people. I mean, it's a frightening amount of people who have had issues already with the Switch Lite. So we'll see where this goes and where this lawsuit goes. Of course, Nintendo, wants you to get your Joy-Cons fixed, and they did extend the warranty, so that's a good thing for them to do. And we'll see if more people come out with issues with the Switch Lite. And another news article from last week that I talked about has been redone. Hero has no longer been banned from the official Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments in France. Oui. So, from last week, France decided to ban Hero from their tournament plays, which was going to be in the upcoming European Team Cup. Now, Nintendo stepped in and said, hold on, you surrendering bastards, we can't let you do that. And Nintendo decided to axe that idea, and they reversed the decision. In a statement to Kotaku, Nintendo said it would standardize rule sets for all tournaments on the European Team Cup circuit to ensure that Hero would be legal at every qualifier. We're harmonizing these rules across Europe to make sure that no community or country is disadvantaged when competing in the Pan-European final next year. In terms of future fighter releases, we'll create more detailed guidelines for our tournament organizers to make sure that we maintain a level of playing field through consistent fighter eligibility across Europe. So I'm guessing if this was just a thing that was in France, Nintendo wouldn't have batted an eye. But since it is something that's continental, it spans across Europe, and those countries did not ban Hero. I think they just wanted to standardize everything, make sure everyone was equal, and move forward. Like I said last week when I reported on this, I have not had much trouble fighting Hero myself, even though I'm a pleb. I'm a stupid noob. But people have seen how his random ability can just deal out massive damage and hit kill you in one hit without you even being over 50% damage. So we'll see if this actually affects anything in the tournament world in Europe at least, and possibly if Nintendo sees that Hero is dominating on all fronts, they may just put out a patch or a ban worldwide for things. For more information in the future. All right, Mario Kart Tour has been downloaded nearly 20 million times on its release day and has gotten over $1 million in microtransactions over the first 24 hours. So Sensor Tower published the following charts showing that Mario Kart Tour has over 20 million downloads, which is 13 million more than Super Mario Run's lifetime, and Super Mario or Dr. Mario World is only at 650k still. Wow. So it's definitely one of the best downloaded, or the best selling in quotation marks, Mario Kart Tour, Mario Kart or Mario game or Nintendo mobile game. Fuck, I can't talk anymore. There has been a little bit of concern with Mario Kart Tour's microtransactions, loot, crate, whatever, boxes, whatever you want to call them. People have complained a lot about them, saying that they're unfair and stuff like that. Nintendo has come out and said that they're going to be showing the rarities and stuff like that in a future update to Mario Kart Tour to help with those and see, just I don't know what that will do, but they'll show people how much money they're willing to spend for an item. But yeah, it seems like Mario Kart Tour has had a rip-roaring start to its release. It's a little bit more of a basic Mario Kart game with no real online play, but more like a leaderboard. And yeah, we'll see how it goes in the future. All right, so Australia's National Film and Sound Archive is going to preserve locally made video games now. So the digital age is here, of course, and video game preservation is arguably more important now than ever. Steps are slowly being taken around the world to ensure this industry's rich history lives on, and now in the land down under, the National Film and Sound Archive of Australia has announced it will begin to archive locally made games, including storyboards, artwork, and soundtracks associated with each one. The NFSA chief executive John Mueller explained how locally made games would join a collection already made up of more than 3 million items, and stated how it would be impossible to represent modern life without video games. The collection represents the cultural diversity and breadth of experience of all Australians, and it is constantly evolving just like our creative industries. We aim to be the national leader in collecting multimedia and new media content, and it would be impossible to accurately represent modern life without video games. It is essential that games be collected alongside other audiovisual media to ensure their continued preservation and access. The first 8 games are a mix of modern and classic games, including The Hobbit by Beam Software in 1982, Halloween Harry by Interactive Binary Illusions / Sub-Zero Software in 1985 and 1993, Shadowrun by Beam Software in 1993, LA Noire by Team Bondi in 2011, Submerged by Uppercut Games in 2015, Hollow Knight by Team Cherry 2017, Florence Mountains 2018, and Espire 1 VR Operative Digital Load 2019. So big round of applause for those companies and studios. This is cool. I wish America was doing something like this. We have a lot more developers in America, and I'm surprised that we haven't done something like this. I mean, it's been a long road. It's been a really long road for video games, and there's so much rich history with that. Even all the way back to the E.T. video game. There's so many awesome stories with that and documentaries that have come out and stuff like that. It's really interesting, and I really hope that more countries start doing this kind of thing for video games. Alright, so House of the Dead 1 and 2 are going to come to the Switch, and they're going to be developed by Forever Entertainment, which is a Polish studio. They're going to be remaking Sega's light gun titles House of the Dead and House of the Dead 2, and they're going to be coming to the Switch. This is the same studio that's going to be responsible for the upcoming remake of Panzer Dragon, which is another Sega title. So since this Polish source came out, no one has really said anything about it. We're not sure about the scope of the project. We're not sure if they're completely reskinning the game or not. People are hypothesizing, is that how you say it, that the game is going to be an HD remake kind of thing, and you'll be able to use the IR camera on the end of your Switch to, or the Switch Joy-Cons to shoot at the zombies, which would be pretty fun. I would hope that they could make a PSVR version of that too. I would love that kind of thing. An on-rails shooter on the VR is amazing. If you've never played the Until Dawn game, Rush of Blood, it is so much fun, and I really wish that they would put this out on like the PSVR. And the Switch is fine. I don't care. I just think that it'd be cooler in the PSVR world. All right, so Epic Games is putting in bots to Fortnite. If you don't know, who doesn't? Fortnite has been a PvP experience since the beginning of its time. Well, that's not true, because it was a tower defense and that added on the Battle Royale mode. But now Fortnite is adding in bots to help players increase their skill level. So Epic Games came out and said in a statement saying they will behave similarly to normal players and will help provide a better path for players to grow in skill. Bots will work in conjunction with a new matchmaking system, and as your skills improve, you'll face fewer bots. Bots will not be present in competitive playlists. This is another system that we will continue to update and iterate. The improved matchmaking system is going to roll out with version 10.40 for Fortnite, and bots are expected to follow in the next season, which currently has no set launch date yet. What do you guys think about this, you Fortnite nerds? Bots in Fortnite Battle Royale. If you get killed by a bot, I'm guessing people are going to meme that out of existence. I'm sure we'll see some memes of the first bot ever to get a Battle Royale in Fortnite. This is going to be interesting to see how this is going to work. Obviously, like they said, as your skills increase, as your level increase, you'll see fewer and fewer bots roaming around the map. But yeah, it's going to be interesting when those first few games are played, how people are going to react to bots, because supposedly they're supposed to be playing like real human beings, and we'll see how that goes for them. Alright, jumping into some PlayStation news, PS Now has permanently dropped its prices worldwide, and a game rotation to add new blockbusters every month has been put into place. If you don't know what PlayStation Now is, it's a subscription service that started out as a streaming platform for PlayStation 3 games. It added full PlayStation 4 games last year with titles to download, and there's new games that are added every month. It's a solid service. I've never used it myself, but it sounds pretty cool. And the big news is that the subscription prices are being permanently slashed across the board. If it's going from about $20 a month to $10 a month in America, which is a pretty significant, that's $10 drop. So in Canada, it's now moving to $12.99 monthly. In Europe, it's going to be about $9.99 monthly. The UK is going to be $8.99, and in Japan, it's going to be 1,180 yen monthly. So there's going to be also blockbusters coming to the service as well, like God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Uncharted 4, and Infamous Second Son, which are all going to be up for grabs, with additional games being added every month. As hinted, these titles will only be available for a limited time, so the first wave will be leaving PS Now in about 3 months on the 2nd of January, 2020. So this is definitely something that piques people's interests. Obviously, they want to, show people, hey, if you haven't played these games yet, you can play them practically for free in these next few months. It's a great idea. It's not a bad idea to lower the price so more people go, look at that. I've always been thinking about trying it out. There's a lot of PlayStation 3 games that I didn't get to play personally because that was a time when I was working at McDonald's and I was making like $100 every 2 weeks. So it would be interesting to play more games from that era that I did not get to play. But with them adding PS4 games, it really shows that we are really heading into the PS5 era. They're trying to roll out these games and get people to play them so that when the PS5 comes around and sequels come around to the PS5 exclusively, players from the PS4 era will still know what they're all about. So cool news from Sony. Now we're going to move into some sad news because the head of PlayStation Japan Asia, Atsushi Morita, has retired at the age of 60. Atsushi may not be a familiar face, but he's been the corporate director of Sony Interactive Entertainment and president of SIE Japan Asia for a long time, and it's been announced that he'll be retiring from both positions, having reached the age of 60. The chief financial officer for SIE is set to replace him as the corporate director, but not the successor of the role for Japan Asia president has been confirmed yet. So yeah, it's interesting to see someone retire from the job. Of course, we had Reggie Fils-Aimé leave Nintendo. He was a little bit younger than this gentleman here, but it's interesting to see those kind of things. In more news for Sony and people leaving the company, the Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden is leaving PlayStation. In an unexpected Twitter post, PlayStation announced the departure of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden. Those of you who have been following the platform holder for the past 5 years or so will recognize the executive from various E3 press conferences, including the showcase in 2015. But his tenure at the Japanese giant dates all the way back to 1980. The organization wrote on Twitter, "It is with great emotion that we announce that Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden will be departing SIE. His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him success in the future endeavors and are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks for everything, Sean." So the nature of his departure is unclear at the moment. Hopefully we'll know something sooner or later. And his replacement is yet to be named. As the chairman, the suit was tasked with overseeing Sony's roster of first-party studios, and he played a pivotal role in the recent acquisition of Marvel's Spider-Man developer Insomniac Games. However, since replacing Jack Tretton earlier in the generation, he's also become the face of the brand, despite the outspoken Jim Ryan being the company's top dog behind the scenes. So we'll see where he goes next, if he goes anywhere next, and we'll see who replaces him in the near future. Alright, so if you didn't know from last week's episode, October 2019 PlayStation Plus games have been revealed, and they're available to download right now on the PlayStation 4. So the two games coming to you for free are the Show 2019 and The Last of Us Remastered, getting some hype for the baseball season being over and for The Last of Us Part 2 coming out soon. So these two games, The Last of Us Part Remastered, everyone loves that game. Me personally, I need to play through it again to get a better perspective on it. When I played through that game, I was still a first-person shooter junkie, so I'm going to try and go back through it myself, maybe with this remastered being free. I did actually buy it for $5 on a sale a while back, but whatever. And then also, the Show 19 is the official MLB game for Major League Baseball. I don't know how people feel about this game being released in other countries. I know Japan has a pretty big baseball fan base, but I'm not sure about the rest of Europe and stuff like that. In America, of course, it's our favorite pastime, right? It's one of the slowest games ever played. The Show 2019, I played the last one, or maybe I played 17. I think I played 17, which was a fine game. It was decent. I didn't mind it at all. And obviously the Show games are rated and reviewed a lot better than like Madden and FIFA and stuff like that. It's a different developer too. It's not EA, which really shows how well these games are actually made. So maybe I'll try it out for a little bit. I didn't really enjoy the baseball games in the past. The Mario baseball game made me rage quit, to be honest with you. I really did not like that game when I was a kid. And but I'll probably add it to my list and I'll give it a try eventually once I'm done with all the thousands of other games I need to play. Alright, so speaking of The Last of Us, The Last of Us 2's motion matching system is sounding like the future of animation in games. So The Last of Us Part 2 has a new system that Naughty Dog is calling motion matching. Basically, it's an advanced animation process that makes the game look incredibly smooth in motion, regardless of what your character is doing. So the developer has come out and said that it's this technology for characters moving through space, like running, walking, jumping, and that kind of thing. Co-director Anthony Newman told GameSpot that in all our previous games, there's been this really distinct state machine where you can play a run animation, then play a left animation, then play a turn right animation. The way motion matching works is it takes this massive bucket of animation, just hundreds and hundreds of animations, and chops them into tiny bits. When you define the path that a player or an enemy wants to take, rather than saying, play this and then play that, and then play that, the system actually looks at a bucket of animations, finds the ones that matches the path that you are already taking, and blends them together frame by frame. It's this totally new way of doing traversal. I think as you play the game, you must have noticed just how fluid the player feels with every foot plant, every turn. There's a little blending as possible. This applies to our NPCs. That applies to the horses. It's applied to the dogs. We even have the dogs and horses and mocap suits running around getting the data we need for this really intricate system. So it sounds like Naughty Dog is just trying to really push the boundaries of video games. Last of Us Part 2, maybe that gameplay we saw wasn't like a fake demo, as I've been thinking. Maybe it really is that fluid in motion. It's hard to believe until I see it personally with my own eyes, my special eyes, but it's really interesting information to come out for Naughty Dog Studios to be doing this much for their games. I mean, they came from games like Jak and Daxter and stuff like that, and now they're making games like The Last of Us Part 2, and they're just looking great. They're looking great. So we'll see how this all works out when The Last of Us 2 launches in February next year. So Bungie is planning on releasing at least one new IP by 2025. Destiny 2, of course, went free to play this weekend, or this week, and the servers have been flooded with tons of people. So many people that the servers have crashed. So ever since they left Microsoft, Bungie has been committed to the multi-platform world of Destiny. So the team has been taking a talking a pretty big game in regards to the current sci-fi franchise, but now the CEO, Pete Parsons, has stated that the studio plans on launching another new IP by the year of 2025. Speaking with IGN, Parsons said, "I think the long-term vision of Bungie would be, we have the worlds like Destiny that are great places to go and build friendships in. And we begin to introduce new worlds that people care a lot about." He goes on to say that Bungie has a specific path it wants to go down in regards to transforming the Destiny series and making sure it has another franchise available on the market. Pete also said, "Our vision ultimately through 2025 is to become one of the world's best entertainment companies. The new IP could be developed with the help of NetEase, who purchased a $100 million minority stake in Bungie in early 2018. So it will probably be around the PS5 era when we see another Bungie game, and hopefully they'll have learned their lessons with working with Activision and working on Destiny 1 and 2. But we will see in the near future. Of course, it's going to be a new IP, so it's not going to be... Maybe it'll be like Destiny, but it's not going to be a Destiny brand name. Definitely probably not going to be a Destiny 3 game. But, we'll have to wait and see on that one, because this is an interesting turn of events. We will see what they do in the future with their new lease on life. So Destiny is actually giving away a lot of content for free with the new Lite coming out. So the play for free from October 1st, your starting power level is going to be 750. You're going to level to max power with free seasonal ranks and rewards. Other things include Year 1 exotic weapons and armor, free roam access to all destinations, campaign events like the Red War, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind are going to be are free. The additional content, Black Armory Forge, Gambit Prime, and the Mejrang, along with Year 1 Nightfall Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible private matches. The Crucible, you're going to have access to all player playlists, free seasonal updates, and the Crucible weapons and gear. The Strikes, you'll have access to all the Strike playlists. Direct launch of Year 1 Strikes and Vanguard weapons and gears. Raids, you'll have all the Year 1 raids and the Year 1 raids, weapons and gears. And you'll have all the in-game events like Iron Banner, Festival of the Lost, The Dawning, Crimson Days, The Revelry, and Solstice of Heroes. Sounds like you're going to be getting a lot for the free-to-play version of Destiny, which allows you to pretty much join in and play with anyone that you want. So this is interesting news, and we'll see how Destiny 2 continues as the free-to-play gets in the full swing. Of course, like I said, today, which is October 1st, officially the game is free-to-play today, and I just watched 3 streams in a row where no one could connect to the servers online. They were really excited to play, and they have to wait to get online because the servers are so populated. Pretty interesting. So, Death Stranding has gone gold and will be delivered on time for its November release. So Kojima Productions came out on Twitter and said that Death Stranding is complete and is gone gold. Hideo Kojima, the Kojima Productions team, everyone at Sony and Guerrilla, cast members, all put their heart and soul into it. Thanks for your support. We can't wait to bring you a new Hideo Kojima game on November 8th. So yeah, it's been a pretty long development cycle for Death Stranding. It was originally announced in 2016 with really nothing to show, and now in 2019, we really haven't learned much more about it, but at least we know kind of the basic concepts and basic gameplay elements. So yeah, the 8th of November, mark it on your calendar. It's officially coming out. Remember, during the State of Play, they announced the PS4 Special Edition with the special white PS4 with handprints on it, and the special clear orangey color PlayStation 4 controller, which looks pretty cool. So yeah, mark it on your calendars and jack off a little bit. I don't know, what do you guys do? Also, in more news for Death Stranding, the baby can communicate with you through your PS4 controller if you so desire. So we really don't see much happening with the PS4's speaker on the controller. It's kind of been almost like phased out through most games. But Hideo Kojima, of course, went on Twitter and said, by using a setting, you'll be able to hear BB's voice coming out from the BB-ish controller. It's a nice little, gimmick, I guess. I guess you would have to try it out and see if you like it, if you can understand it. I don't know how much it talks or what it does, but it would be interesting to kind of play around with that for a little while before going fully into the game. So yeah, we'll see where that heads. If you want to use that in the future, let me know. What do you guys think? Do you want to use the PlayStation 4's controller to hear the baby's thoughts? It may make it a little bit more immersive. Maybe if you swallow the controller, you can actually hear it coming from inside you. Don't do that though. Don't do that. More Death Stranding news. Oh my god. You won't have to have PlayStation Plus in order to access the multiplayer features on the PS4. Death Stranding, the game, is all about connecting with people, and to that end, you'll be able to play online with other people in asynchronous multiplayer elements, such as leaving items for others to discover or helping each other out in combat. Of course, you'll need to be a member of PlayStation Plus to access that part of the game, right? Wrong! Oh, I probably just blew out everyone's speakers. With the new listing of the new PlayStation Pro Death Stranding themed PlayStation, if you look closely at the box, you can see that it has a notice about the PlayStation Plus membership in the left corner, and it reads, "Paid for PlayStation Plus subscription required for online multiplayer sold separately. Death Stranding does not require PlayStation Plus subscription." In other words, everyone will be able to go online in Death Stranding and use its multiplayer features, whether you're a PlayStation Plus member or not. It's kind of worded very oddly there, like you have to have a PlayStation Plus subscription for online multiplayer, but it's sold separately, and it's not required for Death Stranding. Very strange way to word that, but good news for people who don't feel like buying PlayStation Plus. All right, so the Last of Us 2 has a free Outbreak Day PS4 theme, which is available now for free. That's right, a new dynamic theme for The Last of Us is available now for free for all regions on the PlayStation 4. Thanks, Naughty Dog. That's not the only bonus, though. As detailed on the Naughty Dog blog, all currently available Last of Us PS4 themes and avatars are now at half price. Additionally, there are a couple of new t-shirts on the PlayStation Gear Online store, one featuring Ellie and the other Joel. So yeah, we'll see. There's also a third t-shirt that's just the game's logo on the front and two baseball caps. Okay, so baseball caps. All right. There's also an Ellie statue and the Last of Us Part 2 art book, which is now available, and they both are looking pretty cool. You can see more details on the Naughty Dog blog. Will you be downloading this special theme? It's a cool idea to release everything kind of half price and new merch and stuff like that. They're really gearing up for this release, so we'll see if the game can live up to that sweet, sweet hype. Alright, so Call of Duty Modern Warfare's PS4 exclusive mode was a decision made by above all our pay grades, says Infinity Ward. So if you don't recall from the State of Play, the new Modern Warfare game is going to be getting the survival mode a year exclusive on the PlayStation, which is a co-op focused Spec Ops mode. And let me tell you, that is a pretty shitty decision. Infinity Ward's Taylor Kurosaki has addressed the matter on Twitter, coming out with a couple of messages. The game's narrative director explained that things like this go above his development studio. There are decisions that are above all of our pay grades that have to be considered, he explains to a fan. In other words, Survival Mode's PS4 exclusive period is a deal made between Activision and Sony, not up to Infinity Ward. He also explains that Survival Mode is only a tiny portion of the game. He describes the mode as a sliver of Spec Ops and says this will be the only example of exclusive content. You can play Spec Ops and every new bit of content we drop day one. The only timed exclusive is the Survival Mode. I don't know, it doesn't sound like a small portion of the game, but, if the director is saying that, maybe it's true. This has really angered a lot of people, and this has also made people not want to buy the game on other consoles and platforms. As a PS4 person myself, this is good news for me, but this really, really sucks for a lot of people. A lot of people are excited for this game. The beta made people more excited for this game. Me personally, the beta sold the game for me. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to actually keep this year-long whatever exclusivity to the Sony consoles. When so many people are going to be just so pissed off that they're not going to be able to play that thing. I think it's a 4-player survival co-op mode in Spec Ops called, where you just kind of hold off against waves of enemies, kind of like in Modern Warfare 3, which was a great game mode. It was a real big part of that game too. It was a fun game mode. So we'll see what happens in the future. As for now, don't blame Infinity Ward. Blame Activision and Sony. Well, maybe not Sony, because Activision probably went to them and said, hey, hold on here. Hey, Sony, you wanna give us some money for exclusive content on the PlayStation? You wanna anger a lot of Xbox nerds, huh? You wanna do that? But yeah, interesting things happening. I me personally, as a Sony fan and as a PS4 player, I don't like this decision. I think it's a scummy thing to do exclusive content and exclusivity to a certain console or a certain storefront. It's not a cool thing to do. There's a lot of people who are fans of Call of Duty out there, and the fact that they won't get 100% of the game until a year later really sucks. So, Activision...
Boo! You stink!
Rada, bitch.
Alright, so Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast is going to patch in inverted controls on the PS4 and the Switch and other consoles. So, the development studio Asper has heard the outcry of the fans for the options to invert controls in Jedi Outcast, and it's currently working on a patch. They came out on Twitter and said, "We hear you regarding adding aim inversion to the game. We're working on an update now, and it should be available on both Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 in the upcoming weeks. The final verdict on the studio's sentence has hereby been suspended, as an old adage goes, guilty until not guilty anymore." That's funny. Yeah, Jedi Outcast is a great game. I don't recall ever caring that the controls couldn't be inverted, but of course I was a kid when I played it, and I also played it on the PC where it doesn't really matter about your control inversion. I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game again. I think I will end up getting it on the PS4 in the near future. I love this game. The whole game is great. This article was saying that they didn't really like the first part of the story before you got the lightsaber and stuff like that, but that's all that good, juicy build-up to that. You can't just start by giving you a lightsaber from the get-go. That's not how things work. That'd be like... I don't know, that'd be like giving one team an automatic touchdown in football before the game even starts. There you go. So people can get interested in the game. Hey, Miami Dolphins. Oh, sorry, Dolphins fans. Here's an extra touchdown just to make things a little bit more interesting by the end. It probably still won't work. Anyways, good news for people who were complaining about that, because they will be patching that in the future. Alright, so Panic at the Disco is going to get a brand new Beat Saber PSVR pack in the future. So Beat Saber came out on Twitter and said, "Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. The Panic at the Disco music pack is landing in Beat Saber next week. We don't know exactly what songs are going to be on there. Obviously, they're not going to be putting old songs on there, like When You Were Young or stuff like that, but I can see their newest album being on the game because it's very upbeat and poppy and stuff like that. Even the little snippet of the song that they show in the little tiny preview is from their newest album. I doubt we'll be seeing any of those old songs because I don't think that people would like to play those on Beat Saber. If you want to play those on Beat Saber, you're gonna have to get an Oculus Rift and you're gonna have to download them. If you want to play Human, sorry. If you want to play what's that called? There's a lot of Killer songs that I like. Even though I'm a metal fan, I do find some the Killer songs catchy. Mr. Brightside is a great song, of course. It's been memed, of course, but it's still a good song. There's a lot of good Panic at the Disco songs, but wait, that's the Killers. I'm thinking of the Killers. What am I, stupid? Okay, scratch all that. Panic at the Disco, I don't really like their songs. I've never really been a fan of Panic at the Disco. I can see their one real super hit song being on there, which everyone knows. Oh, well, imagine as I am in the end of the church corridor, and I can't help but to hear the exchanging of a word. Oh, yeah, fuck that. So Panic at the Disco, fuck that. I don't care anymore. I was getting them confused with the Killers for some reason. What is wrong with me? Let's move on. PlayStation has launched its own online store in the US, which is selling physical games, hardware, controllers, and more. That's right, PlayStation opened its own online store in the US, which allows buyers to go straight to the source for all their gaming needs. The store currently stocks physical copies of games, sells hardware bundles, accessories, and subscriptions. This site not only provides our fans with in the US with the option to purchase those items directly from PlayStation, but is also intended to help gift givers easily find the right product for their friends or family. Fans will find that prices on the new store align with those found at our retailers, reads the PlayStation blog. It's a great idea for the holiday season coming around. People won't have to go to Best Buy and wait in hours of lines to get one controller. They'll just be able to buy it from the store and have it shipped to them personally. It's a good idea. I'm surprised they did not do this earlier. Okay, does anyone really even care about the DayZ news? Who the fuck cares? They're charging money for a new map when the game is still broken on PS4. No one cares. Boo, you stink. Whatever. So yeah, let's give a round of applause for me, because I fucking survived the heat. It's all of a sudden today in Ohio has been a hot day, so I am sweating profusely, but I do it for you guys. That's right. I'm going to be turning on my AC unit and standing in front of it for about 3 hours after this. Anyways, the last melon for today is me plugging my channel. Since I've changed the way I do things on the channel, I've opened up new avenues for doing highlight videos a little bit more efficiently and putting more work into them. I'm putting a lot of work into them, actually. So if you want to, you can check out, I have new highlight videos pretty much weekly now of past streams or just stuff that's happened. Mine were for beta. Golf with your friends, Shrek the Third, You might want to check those out. Big thank you to Tim Rules, who is the editor of the Shrek the Third video. He did an excellent job with that. Lots of memes, very funny, very good. The Weeb King himself has been, he's been crowned King of Weebs officially because of that video. Very good, very good. Also, big thanks to Greedy Waffle for helping me just creating content in general with me through the podcast, like last Sunday's episode where we talked about the NFL teams. He's also constantly wanting to stream with me and stuff like that, which we try to do as much as I can. And then also just being there for the other videos, like the original Golf with Your Friends video and stuff like that. So big thanks to him for being a swell guy and one of my best friends in the whole wide world. So thank you very much, Greedy Waffle, a.k.a. Nick. I think that's it. Just regular content from here on out. Friday is going to be another highlight video, so if you want to, you can check that out. Another Golf with Your Friends video, so if you want to, you can check that out. Saturday, we'll be returning to Medal of Honor Frontline. We're going to finish up that game, and then next Sunday is going to be another episode of YemmyCast. So I hope to see you guys then. Anything else to add? I don't think so. All right, cool. Let's end this before I get even more embarrassed by my hair. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been YemmyCast, a video game podcast.